everybody. Thanks so much for coming to our Spring Pops concert. It's one of my favorite concerts of the year. We've done a lot collectively, individually, and in small groups. I could not be prouder, oh wow, wasn't gonna do this, of this year's 7th grade band. They're so good. And they're your kids, so you know they're not always awesome. But they're so good. And I don't know, you know, when you're this age, you don't really know good, like you don't know, right? Your knowledge base is just you. But like mine is a lot, because I've been doing this a long time. And they really are very good 7th grade band. And at this time, I'd really like to acknowledge them for their accomplishments this year. This concert for me is just always a lot of fun, because like the stress and pressure of, you know, having to perform like for festival or get ratings, and now we can just make music for music's sake and really enjoy our music. However, to get to this point, we've had some kids do some things above and beyond just being in band. So these kids, I'm just gonna ask them to stand. We'll hold out our applause at the end, if you wouldn't mind, please. So if you are in the 7th grade band and you have taken private lessons at all this year, please stand. 7th grade band private students. Up. Okay, so we have several students who take lessons outside of school. In the fall, we had Solo and Ensemble Festival, where our students were able to perform for an adjudicator and get some field feedback. So if you participated in Solo and Ensemble, please stand up. Great, thank you. We do have one band member who's actually new to our school this year, but just a terrific addition to our music program. And that student was honorable mention for All-State Band of Percussion. So that's good honor. Speaking of honor, a couple weeks ago, several of our students traveled down District 8, far, far away, for District 8 Honor Band. It's an event that I personally either hosted or chaired for probably 10 or 12 years. I've lost track. And I decided it was time for maybe one of those young, energetic teachers to take a turn. So I was happy that so many kids from our school, however, were selected to participate in Honor Band. Please stand up. Yep. And on Wednesday mornings, if kids got to school a little bit early, they could often hear our amazing jazz band practicing at 7:15. This year we were able to participate in a clinic where we had someone come and work with us, and then we had another one with a guest soloist. Jazz band's always a whole lot of fun, and I give these kids a lot of credit for getting to school and playing their instruments at 7:15 in the morning. So if you were in jazz ensemble, please stand up. So for those of you who aren't familiar with how we function, 6th grade band rehearses 5th and 6th hour, and there's 2 teachers per hour. 7th grade band, we divide into 2 hours, 1 teacher. Generally, we rehearse once before each performance. So the fact that this group has been able to do such a good job on very minimal combined rehearsals, really a testament to how good of young musicians they are. So before we play our last song, which many of you might recognize, and if you don't, just ask your kid, I'd like to acknowledge the students who are in 7th grade band who are part of a group that got straight ones at MSBOA Festival this year. Oh my gosh, we practiced this. Guys, it's all of you. Enjoy music. I thought this was a movie till I was corrected, and then I think I actually remember watching this, so this is from The Mandalorian. Okay, this next group is going to perform one selection for you. Oh, sorry, traffic jam. Is comprised of the 8th grade percussion section. You don't need to hear my tale of woe about what to do with 20 percussionists and blah, blah, blah. So, you've all heard it before. But we have an amazing percussion instructor in the area, and he also works with our high school marching band. So Mr. Calvin Dugan came in once a week for, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, worked with these kids. And then my partner in crime, Michaela Van Adder, who's an amazing violist and string teacher. On times when I was working with these guys, she did a few times rehearsing, so I thought, well, she can go ahead and conduct this selection. So I really hope that you enjoy listening to the percussion ensemble. I know Mr. Leslie is super excited to have these guys at the high school next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to coming back and watching them play in the high school band. Anyways, Mrs. Van Adder and the percussion ensemble. is I would like to say a couple of thank yous as we kind of get a couple instruments that might or might not be on the stage. First of all, I'd like to thank the East Lansing Educational Foundation. Every year, my department mates and I write grants, and most of the time we receive them, and this year I was very grateful to receive a grant towards our jazz program. So thank you so much to ELEF. I would also like to thank those brave souls who traveled with us a couple weeks ago by busloads to Chicago. So kids, let's clap for them. I think when one signs up to chaperone, you think a nice quiet little trip to the zoo or something. And it was very fun, but not a nice little quiet trip to the zoo. Truthfully, here in East Lansing, I could not feel more fortunate to have amazing support from building administration and from our district administration and the school board. It really is a great thing to be supported. The arts programs are different in so many ways than obviously academics, and when you have an administration on all levels that understands that, it just makes my job a lot easier, because if we ask for buses for things, we don't have to really explain the why, which really is an added layer to an already layered job, is something that I certainly have appreciated these past several years. We have amazing booster organization. Many of you in the audience are members of that, ELBOPA, East Lansing Band Orchestra Parent Association, tirelessly working to do all the things from fundraising to those amazing program booklets. Hopefully you've taken one and frequent the businesses that have advertised. Thanks again too for the parents who dress these children in these beautiful bow ties. Behind the scenes at every event, actually are a couple of people that never are on the stage, but they do all the recording. And Aaron Most does all our recording, and Krista Hahn does all the lighting and the sound and the setup, and he's at pretty much every concert, as is Aaron. Chris is joining me in retiring this year, so we have very different plans, but it's been a pleasure working with Chris, both as a hallway mate, but also in these events. So thanks to them. Families and kids, seriously, great support. I've taught in 4 different states on what they call a trailing spouse. For those of you who work at MSU, you might have one of those people in your household. And I really, really know what it's like to be in a community that is supportive of the arts. And just lastly, but certainly not least, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time, I cannot tell you how awesome Dave Rosen and Dave Larziller and Michaela Van Ander are. Like, when I was deciding which year I was going to leave and when I was going to leave, I'm literally probably the oldest middle school band teacher in the state, maybe the world. And part of that calculus in deciding when to go is, honestly, I just love my teammates so much. So it's really my hope that we can keep our little group chat going from 6 a.m. to, oh my gosh, we're supposed to bring treats, or who wants a coffee, to, hey, who's setting up the stage tomorrow? But anyway, you came here to hear these amazing kids play. So there's bet going on if I'm going to call these kids my COVID babies, and yes, I am. So whoever plays bets, yep. Fantastic group of kids. Like I said, this concert's terrific because it's our Spring Pops concert, and we just are playing music for the sheer joy of making music and just having fun and enjoying it. I let them vote on the songs. I kind of stacked the deck because I picked songs I like, but so at least it was a guaranteed win for me. So I hope that you enjoy our next selection. I think this one is Try You're Welcome. Try. We'll see what it is when I get up there, what music's on the stand. Anyway, enjoy the 8th grade band. I sure do. So now I'd like to acknowledge those students of this group that did a little bit more than just come to band every day. I can't say enough about the group as a whole. Having learned their instruments completely online, I got to know the kids in a different way than you normally would. I know who's really good at baking cupcakes. I know who has an awesome Lego collection, all thanks to being online. I know some of their dogs and cats. Because I got to know these kids in a different way because we had to change our teaching modalities so many times in the last few years, that I feel a special connection to these guys just because we literally have been through so much together, from learning online to distancing in the auditorium 10 feet apart with me sitting there with a tape measure, to masking last year, to not masking, to having things canceled. So it was great to have a normal year. It's been fantastic to work with these kids. I would be teary at this concert even if it were not my last here in East Lansing, because I always get teary at the 8th grade concert because these kids and I spend literally hours together over 3 years. 7th graders, it's same with you. It's been such a pleasure. Here I am right now, would like to introduce just some individuals though. And I did not practice this with these guys, but we see how well that went anyway. So private lessons. Is there anybody in here who takes private lessons on your instrument? Either raise your hand or stand up. Okay, thank you. Stand up if you attended Solo and Ensemble Festival in October. Solo and Ensemble people. Yeah, so good for these guys. We have a student we will see tonight play on 3 different instruments, but made all-state band on her primary instrument, which is percussion, so all-state band. Super proud of the kids who also made honor band this year. Honor band. As I mentioned, jazz band was just a whole lot of fun this year, so if you were in jazz band, please stand up. And the 7th grade band we took to MSBOA Festival, and the good thing about being in this area with so many great opportunities is there are various festivals we can take our kids to. So every once in a while I will take our students to what's called the MMEA Band Festival, which is a clinic and festival. It's a great educational opportunity for the kids, but they also get to hear other groups and get a lot of fantastic feedback. And this year, the adjudicators were very, very complimentary of our group. They had fantastic things to say. I could not be prouder of how well they did at MMEA Festival. So what I'd like to do is just ask the whole band to stand up and be acknowledged for that accomplishment. Is from a movie called Zootopia. It's called Try Everything.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have a speech prepared, which I probably regret doing, but I'm Amy Martin. I'm the principal at McDonald Middle School, if you don't know who I am. I have had the pleasure of being Mrs. Cross administrator for the last 8 years, which is more than half of her years at McDonald Middle School. And what I continually tell Mrs. Croth is that she is not a conductor of music, she's a conductor of magic, because what she can do with our students. What she does with our students from 6th grade all the way until 8th grade is pure magic in my mind. Any teacher that has any difficulties with students in the classroom, I tell them to go watch Mrs. Croth and what she can do as far as classroom management with 70 to 80 students in a room, and that's also magic. So Patty often comes down, and obviously I have a big job, but she also has a very big job. And one of the things that she tells me all the time is she says, all the things, Amy, all the things. And so I wish Patty all the things, and I truly, when she told me that she was retiring, my heart sank, and she reassured me that, don't worry, you can find someone to replace me, and that is simply not true, because Patty Croft is a legend, and we cannot replace her. For being an amazing band teacher the years that we've been with her, and we're gonna miss you so much. We made this card for you. Everybody signed it, so you can remember us when you leave.
She usually stands here as I am now and talks about how incredible we are for being her COVID kids, but today is different, and I'm here to talk about what an incredible person and teacher Mrs. Croft is. Not only did she manage to teach almost all of us to play our instruments through a screen, where half the time she couldn't even see us or hear us, she never gave up on us, and she always kept pushing for us to be where we are today. She comes to class each day with nothing more than her passion for teaching, ability to brighten the room, and a cup of coffee. This year has truly been a gift, and I feel that we all grew closer together as a group. And we had the longest 2 weeks ever when Mrs. Croft decided to take time off to help with her wrist injury. When she came back, the mood immediately brightened again, and I'm forever thankful for her kindness and understanding as a teacher. McDonald Middle School will not be the same without Mrs. Croft and her expertise. We love you and thank you for all that you have done for us.
Hi, I'm a high schooler here at East Lansing, and unfortunately I have been out of Mrs. Croft's classroom for quite a few years. But I still remember all of her amazing teaching. She was the one who inspired me to pursue music after the required year that I had to do in 6th grade. She inspired me. She still inspires me every day. Sorry, I didn't come up with anything, so yeah. Thank you so much, Mrs. Cross. This is from the entire.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is David Rosen. I am the 7th through 12th grade orchestra teacher. And Patty and I started together 15 years ago in East Lansing. And she is my longest consecutive colleague that I've had in my 25 years of teaching. So that's very, very special. Made a couple notes, a couple things I just want to talk about. You're going to hear a big list of her accomplishments in a second. But I want to talk about two things that are really special, that make Patty special. Besides all of her Pattyisms, which we all know about. But the first thing was when we got here, was Patty's willingness to just take risks. And so if I came to her with some crazy idea like, hey, let's take middle school full orchestra to festival, she was like, all right, cool, what should we do? And we just jumped right in. Or let's do this crazy thing at collage, or why don't you conduct this and I'll do this? And okay, great, well that's gonna require me to pull kids from these classes and get them down here, but we'll make it work, don't worry about it. So all of those things never, her willingness to just kind of take risks and try new things and work with everyone in the department and just take the lead on things really made the job not feel like a redundant job of doing the same thing year after year after year after year. So I appreciate that, Patty. Thank you for doing that. And the second thing is that it takes a lot of energy to teach middle school musicians all day, every day. It takes a lot of energy, okay? And Patty has all of that energy, whether it's in staff meetings, department meetings, at a conference, presenting at a conference, conducting at a conference. She just has all this energy. And where it comes out the most important spot is in her daily rehearsals with her students when she's teaching, and in her in her performances like tonight. And that energy that Patty exudes, that's what I'm gonna miss the most, because I feel like that really is what is the engine that keeps our department moving. So, Patty, I want to say it's been an honor to work with you in this crazy music world. Thank you. Congratulations on a well-deserved.
Good evening, I'm Dave Larsler. I'm the band director at the high school. I've worked with Patty for a while, and I just have a few things I wanted to add to that. I agree with everything Mr. Rosen said. First is, I honestly just have no words to say. I can't try to even speak about losing Patty as a friend and a colleague, so instead of words, I'm going to give you some numbers tonight. Patty has taught at McDonald for 15 years. In that time, she has presented more than 100 concerts and performances. Her first year at McDonald, there were 18 students in the 8th grade band. In fact, the band program was so small, she had to teach choir for her first few years. After several years of working her magic, her largest 8th grade band peaked at 81 students. As a result, the high school band went from 65 students in 2010 to averaging over 150 students each year, something that would not have happened without Patty's leadership. Patty has mentored 10 student teachers from Michigan State, Central, and Eastern. She has taken the middle school band and orchestra to Chicago 7 times. Patty says the phrase, 1, 2, ready, go, on an average of 53 times per day. Okay, I made that up, but it's probably close. Patty drinks on average 4 to 6 cups of coffee per day, and consequently averages 4 to 6 hours of sleep per night. Patty also loses her glasses 4 to 6 times per day. Most of the time, they're on her head. 4 to 6 times is also the number of times she mentions her family in a day. Patty sends our group chat, the 4 of us, an average of 15 to 20 texts per day. This isn't a number, but Patty makes her check marks backwards. I don't know why I felt that was relevant, but it's something that's really unique about her. If you see a check mark and it's backwards, you know it's Patty. It just is really a unique thing about her. Patty has spent countless hours teaching music to the children in East Lansing Public Schools. Patty has guided and directed hundreds, if not thousands, of kids to become better musicians and better students. And the last number for Patty is 2,500. Because Patty, in the last week, this community, our little band community, has raised $2,500 and counting to commission a new piece that will honor you and celebrate your career and legacy. Have a go. Patty has also been nominated for the District 8 Teacher of the Year this year, and she'll go on and maybe be considered for the State Teacher of the Year. We'll find out in a couple of weeks, so we're really excited for her. That's a huge honor for Patty. Patty, it's been the highlight of my career to be your teaching partner. I've learned so much from you. We have laughed too hard too many times, and I have loved working with you. Rest easy, knowing that you're leaving this program in much better shape than you found it. Things will certainly never be the same without you. Good luck in your retirement. Best wishes from all of us.
Okay, but oh look, this is the last time I have to do this, Dave. Hire someone taller. It's not about me, it's about the kids. Truly it is. I love these kids. I love all the kids. I'll be like walking through random places like airports or Zingerman's in Ann Arbor, and I like run into kids everywhere, and it's always so fun. It's like, yay! Love it. So thank you so much. The last piece is super special to me. We mentioned Chicago, and we had the honor of hearing Riccardo Muti, world famous conductor, conduct the Chicago Symphony. And the first time I saw Riccardo Muti conduct was the year I met my husband. He was conducting the Philadelphia Orchestra, and we met in New York State Summer School for the Arts. I mentioned Trailing Spouse. That was state number one. And a piece we played in an orchestra together is called the New World Symphony. And many of you know it, and I just thought it was really fitting that, that these kids had the opportunity to watch Maestro Muti conduct the Chicago Symphony just like all those years ago. I was with my husband, well, I wasn't, but met him, watching him conduct Philadelphia. And so this is an arrangement of the fourth movement of the Dvorak New World Symphony. We are joined by several members of the high school band, and I just thought this was just a fitting way to end my career of music making as it looks now. I still plan on being in the area and doing some other musical things. So I can't say enough about my colleagues. I'll be sending them texts all the way up till midnight tonight. So in any case, thank you for being here. Those of you who got here from track, I know it's been a long day. Hopefully you had a snack. Here we go. This is the finale from Symphony No. 9 by Dvorak. It's an arrangement of that, and hopefully their instruments aren't too cold or out of tune, but we'll just enjoy the music anyway. Thank you so much for everything.